Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I'll be doing an improvisations with the text objects. So we will be using sphere chalk and geometry nodes. So I'm gonna start with sphere chalk. So sphere chalk actually have nodes that's dealing with text objects. It's called Typography Viewer. This is an old node. So basically, it takes text and also you can position the matrix. It has other options, but for now we're just gonna use nodes. This node is very strange. It's hard to read as well. But basically, whatever text you put here, it's gonna give you the output. So you can put things like blend, rock and roll, and we can use the text. Basically, this become a single text. However, let's save this very quickly. This is type scatter. It's a text object. We need to split it. Let's just use list split. I think level 2. Right. Now we need to also group it so it's inside a collection called alpha. You can adjust the size there. You can perhaps center the pivot also using vector matrix, but no, I'm not. I think I'm not gonna do that for now. Ideally, we can also turn this into a mesh, and that's possible if there's an ID output, or you can use another collections. Anyhow, we don't worry about that for now. Let's create a cube and geometry nodes. Since we have this bunch of text shape is actually really cool and fun to work with. If we also solidify the text, like if we extrude it, it has some kind of thickness, so we can scatter it on the grid, for example. Now let me show you what we can do first. So we can distribute points on the box. We can use collections like alpha. So now we have this, which is already pretty neat. It doesn't seem like it's centered properly, but still pretty cool that we can do this. And we might need scale, transform our original default box. Yeah, so you can have something that looking pretty random, and from far away it looks like a city, right? City that's built with blend rock and roll. I know it sounds like a song lyric, but anyhow, yeah, it's fun to play with. Let's create a grid, distribute some objects on the grid. But it's all jumbled up. Point, scale. Oh, okay, I know why. It's using the whole collection. It's not supposed to do that. 0.02. Okay, yep, this one needs to be hidden. Now we have a bunch of text over there. You can scale it. It's not centered. There should be a way to center it out. Try also point scaling. I mean, like random attribute randomize, point scale. Yeah, I think this is pretty neat. Text objects is really always something that's you can quickly use to get random shapes, really. And anytime you can always like decimate. Okay, modifier requires. Oh, I know, because this is the text objects and it doesn't like the shapes. But anyway, at least we can already randomize objects like this. We can also use vector, randomize this in the z-axis. Although it's kind of neat that we are also randomizing in the randomizing this way with x and y. We can always zero it out and just randomize the scale, because it has solidify. You can scale this so a little bit, almost like a building. If you can put it on the base. Yeah, I think there's a bit of works needed for these objects to work. But this is basically what I want to show you. I think this can be improved, of course. We need a way to remesh this die and then put it on the floor somehow. I think Spreadshop also can read this and then bring it in. Not gonna do that. It might crash. But I always like the idea how you can have like a series, science fiction, sci-fi series built with random shapes of letters. This is too literal, however, but could be interesting. Rotation, random rotations. I don't know. You can make city or like make like a random character. We can make random characters, right? So instead of grid, we can use icosphere. I do this a lot, like making random characters using whatever means. This can be mirror. Oh, it doesn't like the mirror. Well, anyway, this is still like a text object that's being instanced using geometry nodes. In reality, you can convert the text into mesh object first, but in my case, I will use Spreadshop to load this guy, and then I'll put new object. This might crash Blender the next time you open it. No data being passed. It's really interesting here. Yeah, it doesn't like the instance. You might be able to turn this into volume. Oh, it doesn't like it. It doesn't have any points. Okay, in that case, inside Spreadshop, use collection picker, get our alpha objects, mesh viewer, and output our object. Object ID out. So what I'm doing most of the time is pretty basic. It's just passing the data around using different nodes. Non-type objects has no attributes. Okay, it's hidden. Supply. Yeah, somehow doesn't like the text object, which is really weird. If I use objects in, get selection, we can read it. Okay. Let's just put it inside a collection. Call it gamma. So gamma is a text object. So instead of using alpha, Let's switch back to our cube and geometry nodes. Let's use gamma. Gamma is a text object. We can now mirror, and we have, oops, we can use remesh and then decimate. We can have random shapes. I think I've done this in the past a couple of times. It's okay, it's always fun to do. Yeah. So this group input can use the seed. So now we can have this with different seed. It's like a brute force method to generate random shapes. It's probably not it's not very common, or maybe it's pretty common things to do when designing a game. You start with a random shapes, whether it's for character or I don't know. Yeah, if I try to reload this, it might crash or it might not. Seems to be working still, so it's cool. So we can go back to SketchUp nodes. This we can just write whatever, Unity, Unreal. It's gonna update. No, you can put whatever. You're gonna have new design, and if you go back to geometry nodes, you want to have more or less density. It's gonna update accordingly. Okay, so that's the whole video for today. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.